Hello guys, welcome back. In this video. Let's learn how to model the revolver in the Blender software. I've used a very simple modeling tools and workflow, and it would be very exciting tutorial ahead. Let's get started. So let's first load the image for the reference in the modeling. So I'll be switching to the orthographic view by pressing 1. Once that is done, I press Shift A and then go to the image and then use the background and then browse the image there. So I've loaded the image here. When I'm in the orthographic view, you see the image. When I switch to the perspective view, you'll get that image lost. So select that image and then go to the options there, and then you can reduce the opacity of that image if you want it to be slightly dark. So let's start by creating a cylinder. For that, I press Shift A and then go to the mesh and then choose a cylinder. The first thing you need to do is you need to put the vertices with a multiplication of 6. So if I'm going to put it 12 or 18, that should generally helps us. So I'm going to put this to 36. Okay, so you'll have 6 number of faces. It is very important to read your images carefully. So if you could able to see, I've got this image and this most of the revolvers have 6 bullets. So here I've got this ridge here, and I want that ridge to be built 6 times around the axis. And I'm roughly imagining this part and this part and this part. There are 3 equal parts there. So if I leave 6 faces there, I can generally build the model. Okay, so I'm just trying to make these 2 faces as the detailed model here. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to choose 36 here. So once that is done, I'm going to choose rotation in y-axis and then scale it and then place that model in the reference perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to select the faces here and delete those faces. So let's say I'm going to select these 2 faces for the ridge and this face on the top and the bottom 3 faces. So I'm going to press Ctrl I and then delete those faces there. So that's the model here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this model and then press Ctrl R for adding the line. I just click and drag it anywhere I wanted. So I can press G and then X, just slide it over for the right placement. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select those faces here. So I'm going to select these 2 faces here, and I'm going to use this tool called Inset Faces tool, and then just slightly scale it down, and then select the move tool and make sure that you're in the normal, and then just move it inside like that. Okay, and then you can select these 2 faces and delete those faces there. So select the faces here, enable the snap option, make sure that it is the vertex selection, press G for the move, X for the x-axis snap, and then select those vertex and it will snap equally to that. Once your job is done, say switch off the snap option and then just move it like that, and also press Ctrl R and then select that line and then add that line there. Okay, so that adds up the ridge there as per the requirement. You can select this vertex point here, okay, and then just move it inside. You can choose that to normal direction so that it will be nice and round there. I'm pressing Ctrl 3 to just check how this model is coming up, and once that is done, I'm going to add the lines here. So let me see what kind of lines will help me. Select the model and then add a line there. Okay, and then moving that line gives me that roundness there, which is very important. I'm also selecting the line and then scaling it in the x-axis and getting that straight line there. So let me select the model and you have that numbers, and then when I go to the apply option and then choose all transform to delta, you get that values to 0. So I press Shift S and then choose the 3D cursor to the selected object. For that I need to first select the object here, Shift S and then cursor to the selected, and then I'm going to press Shift A and then choose the plane axis which comes there. Okay, and then this object is here, so I'm going to select that object, go to the modifiers and then search for array modifier there, and then choose the object here and then choose the empty. And once that object is there, go to the transformations and then just rotate this transformations 60 degrees, and I'm going to select the model and then choose the number of copies to 6, and then also just enable merge options here. I'll just go to the wireframe option here, and then you could generally choose 0.02 if needed. Once that is done, I can go to the apply option there and then delete the plane axis. Now I'm going to select this line here. So I'm going to select that line here and then press E and then scale it. Okay, then press E, scale 0 degrees. I'm going to select all the vertex points there and then merge them to the center. So I'll select the edge here, the border edge, and then press E and then S and then just slightly scale it here. Then do it one more time. Then last time when I scale it, okay, I'm going to press M to merge that to the center. Press Ctrl R and then just click and drag a line to this corner. Press Ctrl R, click and drag, Ctrl R, click and drag. So I'll be selecting this loop here for one detail, and I'm going to press Alt E and extrude along the normals and then just move it slightly outside like that. And I'm going to add some loops for hard edges. Press Ctrl R and then click and drag there. I'll be selecting this line here and then apply the bevel and adding some loops there just for some lines. So I'm going to select that like that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the faces. Okay, make sure that you have selected the right one or in the right place. Okay, so I'll right click here and then go to the loop tools and then choose the circle option so that I'll get that nice circle there. We have options like radius. I can generally choose the radius of that circle. Okay, I can also use the angle option to twist them, so that's not required. So once that is selected, I'm pressing Alt E and then extrude along the normals and then just get that small loop there. Press Alt E again, Alt E, extrude along the normals. So I'm going to delete those faces. That will generally help correctly. So I'm going to select the model and check the model at this subdivision level. Okay, so I've got this nice barrel here. I'll be selecting the vertex here and then press Ctrl plus and then 3 for the selection of the faces. I can scale it like that as per the requirement. I'm pressing E for extrusion and S for scale to get that line. Then I do it once again for the whole. Now I'm going to select the faces here and then press Alt E to extrude along the normals. Okay, now select those vertex points, Ctrl plus and 3, then Alt E to extrude along the normals. So get the hole like that, and once that is done, I'm going to delete those faces there. Press Ctrl R and then I'm going to scale it like that. I'm selecting this line here and I'm going to scale this line a little bit inside, and then right click and then choose the loop tools and choose the circle option there so that I get this circular loop, and I'm going to scale this inside or outside like that. I'm going to press Ctrl R and then just click there and then right click and then choose the loop tools circle and then scale it to that edge there. Then press Ctrl R and then add a couple of lines there and then leave it like that. Okay, I've selected these lines and I'm switching into the X-ray mode and then press G, X and then select those lines there, and that should bring up till this area. Okay, you should be able to see that. Now I'm going to select count those lines 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So there are 8 sides, so I need to select the 4 lines there. I'm selecting the 8 lines of the 4 faces and I'm applying the circular loop there to make it circle shape. Once that is done, I'm going to delete those faces and merge the vertices. I press Shift A and then create a cube there, and then I'm going to scale that cube and then move it there at this point. Okay, I'm going to scale it further more. If I'm okay with the thickness, I can just stay with that. I'm going to start extruding those faces. It is always good to make this model in a symmetrical form, but I can do it later also. First, let me just create the overall shape here. So I'm selecting the face component here. Okay, then press E and then just move it there like that. Okay, so I've just placed those points like that. Once that is done, I'm going to select those faces there and then press E for extrusion till this point. Then press E and then bring it down like that. I'll be selecting those vertex points, okay, and then merge them. Okay, so I've got this frame here. So I'm going to select this model and switch to the edit mode. Press Ctrl R to add a line in the center. I'll be doing on this both sides, and then select the faces. And then I'm going to select the faces from the top. Make sure that you have selected all of them. And then delete those faces, okay? Now once that is done, I'm going to model this. Shift A, then create a cube, okay? So once I've got the cube, I'm going to press Ctrl 1 or maybe Ctrl 2, whatever is okay. Then I'm going to select that model, convert into the polygons there, and then select those faces, okay, like that, and then select the model and then scale it and X, and then move it there like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the faces, okay, delete those faces, and I'm going to use the scale tool just to match up here. Okay, I'm going to shift to the top view, okay, and then enable the vertex and then closest to point. Maybe I can choose this like that, okay. So I've got this in the place, and I'm going to scale this model in the y-axis and just keep it like that. And I need some lines. Maybe I'm going to select this model, press Ctrl R, and that adds up a line. Ctrl R, and then I'm going to add a set of lines there, so that lines are going to connect with the surface properly. Okay, so let me select those faces. So maybe I can delete those faces for time being, and then select the edge there. Okay, then I'm extruding those lines. I'm just trying to keep it minimum like that. So I've got those lines, so I can keep connecting the lines with that GX, and then move it there. I'm going to select these 2 points and then merge to center. I press E to extrude those lines there, and then merge those lines. So I'm going to select these 2 points and then merge like that, and then select these 3 points, press F to fill that. I'm just moving those points up there. Let me see how this is going to merge. So I'm going to select those faces and delete those faces there, and then merge them. Okay, so I'm going to select these 2 objects and press J or Control J to combine, and then select those vertex points. Okay, so I'm going to select these 2, M, and merge. I have a reason because I just want that gap here. So I'm going to select those 2 points and then merge it. So I'm going to select those 4 vertex points, press F to fill, and then start filling those points one by one. Okay, I've filled those points here, and the lines have come correctly. So I'm going to add a line here close to it. Once that is done, I got a loop here. So I'm going to select those 2 vertex points and merge to center and merge to center. So that I got that nice line. Now when I apply mesh smooth, I get the creases correctly. So I'm going to press Ctrl R and then just click and drag there. Ctrl R, click and drag there. Okay, so that's the lines closer. So let me select both of them, and then so I'm going to select those 4 points and press F to fill the faces. Okay, I'm pressing Ctrl R and then just click and drag it there. I'm selecting both of them and merge to center and then move it. So I'll be selecting those vertex points and then shift right click and then add those points there. Once that is done, I'm going to select those vertex points, press F. So let me select these 3 lines here. Then apply the subdivide and then select those lines and then place it with that. Taking this line there is no use, so I'm going to select the knife tool and then connect those lines there. So I'm selecting the extrude and then pull it out like that. Press Ctrl R and add a line there. Then select those 4 vertex points, press F to fill, and then select those points and then F to fill. So I've got some quads and triangles. So I just wanted to move the 3D cursor to a point. So I'm going to select the vertex here and then press Shift S and then move the cursor to the selected. So that's the cursor there. Once that is done, I'm going to select those faces. Okay. And then press Ctrl plus and then grow the selection so that it selects all the way till here. And you should be able to see I've selected those faces correctly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this option and then transform pivot point to the 3D cursor and then press S and then Y and then scale it just to keep it to the size of the barrel there. I'll create a cylinder, so I'll be selecting that cylinder model here, and then we have 32 subdivisions, or you can just keep it minimum, so I'll stay with 28 or 24. Let's see whether this will work. Select the model, press R. In Y axis, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees here. Once that is done, I'm going to scale it like that to the size of the barrel. Okay, so let me scale this and then scale it further and then move it to that particular point. Select those faces and delete those faces there. And then just connect it. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I can again add a line here and then move it to that point. So let me select those faces and delete those faces there. So I've selected these faces here. I'm pressing E and then just click there and then press G and then Y and then move it outside. Then you get this kind of extrusion out of the model here, which is going to be slightly, you know, protruding outside just for the sake of the barrel design. So I'm going to use that. I'm selecting those faces here and then I'm just using the scale tool and then just scaling it to the equal, and then I also scale this in the Y direction just to get that size of the barrel here roughly. Once that is done, I can extrude a little bit more details what we have on the front side. Okay, I'm selecting these faces here. Okay, I'm going to extrude those, and also I'll just switch to this view, and I'm going to select these faces as well, and I'm going to extrude it. Okay, but before going into that, you got that shape here. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to just extrude it slightly and then just move those vertex points inside. Okay, so I'm going to select those faces and then press E and then move it till there. Then I'm going to select those vertex and then move it down here and then move it to match the reference. So here I'm going to use the knife tool. I'm going to select those vertex point and then choose the normal direction and then change this to median point and then move it there. So I'm going to select those faces, Alt T, extrude along the normals and then extrude it. It has not gave me the right result, but I'll delete those faces. I'm going to move those vertex points and then enable the vertex snap. Press G and then Y and then select that to match with that. Okay, and I'm going to create a very similar line here also. So I'm going to press K for the snap tool and then start placing those lines like that. Now I'm going to select those vertex point and then move it. Select those faces, extrude along the normals and delete those faces there. Okay, now the overall barrel piece has been achieved. Now I'm going to select this model and I'm going to assign a mirror modifier in the Y-axis, and then I'm going to add the subdivision modifier. Now this is where I have to add the lines which can give me that hard edged corner in all the areas, so I need to carefully add lines there. So I'm going to select the model and then start adding lines there. Okay, so I press K and then okay, I just added those lines. I used the edge slide and then just keep it closer as possible. In hard surface modeling, the hard edges or the creases are very important. So when we are exporting this model to other softwares and all, so it is very important to add these lines, 3 lines every corner, which will create that hard edges. The amount of hardness is depend upon the lines distance from the corner. Okay, so those lines are placed here and there, and after adding lines, this model can become more complicated. So in cases I have to bring 3 lines into one line, and when we apply my smooth, it becomes even. In fact, this is a quad. So if you could see here, this one, 1 2 3 4, this is a 4-sided model. So I have done that way throughout the model. Sometimes I've kept triangles on planar surfaces, and triangles are generally not recommended, but in hard surface modeling, if you end up keeping a triangle, that should not create a big problem at all. For the next set of detail, I'm going to create a cylinder. So I'm going to take the cylinder here, and I'm going to choose the 6 subdivisions, and then I'm going to scale it like that. And then let me place this model here, and then rotate Y 90 degrees, and then you should get it here. So I want to rotate it a couple of angles, and it should be very precise. So let me check how much is that. So 360 divided by 6 divided by 2 is 30. So I'm going to select this model, rotate it in x-axis 30 degrees so that it faces this way, and then I'm going to scale this. It's perfectly okay. I'm going to select the x scale and then move it in the x-axis there. Okay, I'm going to select those lines. Okay, and then press Ctrl B and then bevel it. And then I'm going to select these faces, delete those faces like that. I'm going to select these lines here, and then press E and then scale it. I'm going to do that, E and scale it. And select these 2 lines, press Ctrl B, and then you get these lines here again. So press G and X. There is slight angle here, so I'm going to rotate this. Let me create a cylinder. So I'm going to take a cylinder and then 20 subdivisions, and I'm going to move it there, scale it there, rotate Y 90 degrees, press G and then move it there. So I'm going to select those vertex points and then move those points till here. Select the face and then press E and then scale it. Then E, scale it, E and then move it. Like that. In fact, I can move it further deep there. Then select those lines and then just add those crease lines. I'll be deleting those faces and then add a line there. So that adds up that barrel. And then I want to use a cylinder, scale it and then move it there. Rotate Y 90 degrees and then scale it, which goes like that. I'm going to select those, E and then S, scale it, press Ctrl R, add a line. Okay, now I'm going to select that, press Ctrl B and then add a line. So I'm going to press Alt E, extrude along normals, and then scale it like that. Ctrl B and then add those lines there. I'm going to create a cube and then scale it and then move it there like that. And then I'm going to choose SX and then put it there. Okay, so that looks good at this point of time, and I'm going to take a cube. I'll scale this in the y-axis. I'll select all the edges and then bevel it. I'm going to add some lines here. Select those faces then extrude it, then add a line, select those faces, extrude it. I press Ctrl B and then add that corner, and then I'm going to connect those lines like that. Press Ctrl R, Ctrl R. I use the knife tool and add a line there. Press Ctrl R and add the line here. Ctrl R, Ctrl R. Maybe you can do the symmetry thing if wanted. And this is what we got. Let's take a cube here and move it, and I'm going to scale it, rotate it, and then place it there. I'm selecting these points and then just moving it there. Press Ctrl R and then add a line, and then Ctrl R, add a line, and then you can start moving these points as per the reference here. I'll be taking a cube here and then scale this cube all the way down here, and then just move that cube there and then scale it. I'm going to press Tab, select the face component, and then E, extrude it, and then rotate it. You can also do the scale a little bit there, then E, extrude, S, scale, and then move it. E for extrude, move it, rotate it. Press Ctrl R and Ctrl R. So I'm just selecting those vertex points here and then just extruding the faces at this point and then deleting those faces there. That gives that cavity here. Maybe you can delete those faces also if required. And then I'm going to select those model and press Ctrl R. Let me select those lines there and press Ctrl B and then just add a bevel there. Or maybe let's try all the lines and then press Ctrl B like that, and then merge those vertex points. So that's how just we get that trigger, and when you have more details internally, you can model them that way. I'm going to create a cube, and I'm going to scale those cube there, and then so I just keep extruding there. You can use some other curve tools if required. I'm just extruding it and then pressing G and then pressing R. E for extrude, G for move, R to rotate. And I do that. E for extrude and then move it and then rotate it. Extrude, move, rotate. Extrude, scale, like that. E for extrude and then R, S for scale. So once that is done, I want to select this line and this line, press Ctrl B and then add those lines there. Ctrl R, maybe I can select those two lines, Ctrl B, and then add the lines there. So that gives up this nice trigger. I'm going to create a cube. So I'm going to select that object and then scale it and then move that object there. Rotate that object and then place it like that. I'm going to select that and extrude it and then scale it and rotate it. So I've got this model here. Let me see from the top view, and I'm going to select that and then choose increment and then snap it to the center. I'm going to choose the scale and then scale it to have something like that. So I'm going to select a middle line and then I'm going to select those faces and delete those faces. I'm going to select the E and then scale it and then E, scale it. Then let me select these faces and then E and then scale. I want to select the vertex point and then move it to the center. So once I've got all of them, I'm going to select those faces. Extrude along the normals like that, and then when I apply the smooth, then you get this, and then start adding the loops. I can start playing with the lines there. I'm going to press Ctrl R and then move those points close to that. And you can keep refining this shape as per the result what you're getting here. As you keep refining this model looks much better. Okay, keep exploring the shape. Once that is done, you can use the modifier like a mirror and then subdivision surface something like that. I can select the model and then choose a scale Y to scale it to get it correctly. I'm taking a cube there and I'm scaling it and then moving it there. I press S and Y and then scale it like that. And I want to move those lines there. I want to extrude this and then move those points like that. Extrude it. I press Ctrl R. Select the face. Extrude and rotate. Or maybe I'm going to select those lines and then move it in Z-axis. I want to add lines there. And then you get this. So there are some small intricate details and detailings of the gun, but this is what we can achieve with all the basic Blender modeling tutorials. And yeah, this is not completed, but I came a long way in building up this model. I need to go with the details very closely, which takes more time in making this model a best model, but this has taken us a good shape so far. Guys, hope you like this video, and I request you to check all my other Blender tutorials in my channel and also subscribe the channel. Thank you.